Spiritual Gumbo, Lot the Hebrew, Part 2. All right, y'all. I have to get ready to take up a lot of the time that I wanted to take up in the last part. And I am going to make it understood, you know what I'm saying, who it is that we're dealing with as a people, who we are more so as a people than not as a people, and understanding the proclamations that have been put forth before certain adventurers traverse the land and after. And being before being what the Most High God has told Abraham up until this point, and what he will tell him after, and then what the seed of Abraham or Abraham is to do afterwards. But Lot the Hebrew is so important because we have to understand he's the father of the Moabites and the Ammonites, who are a crucial piece in the history of the Israelite people. Now we're going to go forth and we're going to pick up pretty much where we left off. This is in verse 13. And where we left off was Lot has been captured in a war where one can assume he's a part of the cavalry. Because Lot is a Hebrew trained with his very warrior-like uncle. One could just assume that he was out there trying to do too much. But we're just going to move on. We're going to go to verse 13. And it said, and one of them that had been rescued came and told Abraham, the Hebrew. And Hebrew means passer, one who passes over the river Euphrates. And he dwelt by the oak of Mamre, the Amorite, the brother of Eshcol, and the brother of Anun, who were confederates with with Abraham. My apologies. And Abraham, having heard that Lot, his nephew, had been taken captive, numbered his homeborn servants, 318, and pursued after them to Dan. And he came upon them by night, he and his servants, and he smote them, and pursued them as far as Choba, which is on the left of Damascus. And he recovered all the cavalry of Sodom, and he recovered Lot his nephew, and all his possessions, and the women and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after he returned from the slaughter of Kedalagomer, and the kings with him, to the valley of Sabi. This was the plain of the kings. Okay, stop right there. Several things have to be noted. Did you guys listen in that last video how these same kings went up against these other armies of these other kings and pretty much broke them down like a shotgun? Okay, so if that's the case, we have to assume that Abraham and these guys, Abraham, attacks at night because he knows that they don't stand a snowball's chance in hell fighting these dudes right out in the open. So they ambush him, and they get their battle mage warrior thing on. The reason why I say that is because it doesn't actually say what they did to them. They just say that they were smote. But then it does make sure to let us know that they were killed because the slaughter of Kedalagomer. So these guys didn't make it. Kedalagomer for sure was slaughtered. And why that's so important is because you have to realize this man went all the way for his nephew. He only did this for Lot. All the way he went for this man. That's a crucial thing. Notice he doesn't save Gomorrah also. He doesn't save the cavalry of Gomorrah. Only the people of Sodom, because that's where he knew that Lot lived. So his people are essentially war heroes. Now check this out. Listen to this. This is verse 18 of chapter 14. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth loaves and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. Listen to this right here. Now this is a blasphemy because they have it written like this. They say he was a priest of the Most High God, but how? I want you to understand this. The Most High God has made it. He makes it clear in other passages that he chose Abraham specifically. Okay, and he also makes it known in the book of Joshua later through Joshua that nobody knew his name. So there's an indication that the writers who put this in here does that. That is a literary device to confuse the reader. But we're going to go for who was a priest of the he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed Abraham and said, "Blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, who made heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High God, who delivered thine enemies into thy power." And Abraham gave him tithe of all, gave him the tithe of all. And the king of Sodom said to Abraham, "Give me the men, and take the horses to thyself." And Abraham said to the king of Sodom, and Abraham said to the king of Sodom, "I stretch out my hand to the Lord, the Most God. I stretch out my hand to the Lord, the Most High God, who made the heaven and the earth, that I will not take from all thy goods from a string to a shoe latchet, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abraham rich. Except what things the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men that went with me, Eshcol, Anun, Mamre, these shall take a portion." Stop right there. The difference between what Abraham says and what Melchizedek says is that Abraham makes sure when he's saying what he's saying, right? When he's speaking to it, he says, "I stretch out my hand to the Lord, the Most High God." Stop right there. Now people are like, why are you making a distinction? I'm like, because Abraham makes a distinction. Now all this only happens because of Lot, all this confusion. And they try to confuse us by calling Melchizedek the king of Salem, right? And then there's a dialogue between the king of Sodom and Abraham. Let me tell you guys something. A lot of people believe that their God or their deity created the heaven and the earth. A lot of other peoples give credence to another force creating the heavens and the earth. So just because this clown says the Most High, right on, and there's only one Most High, but the problem is this. There are no sub-peoples who come from Abraham yet, to who anyone could even claim would have had a name of the Most High God. Thank you very much. So there's no way that I have a very hard time believing that Melchizedek is a true priest of the Most High God. Thank you very much. With that said, we have to be thankful that Lot was so foolish to get himself caught up in a situation that we could discern such a thing and all of this. And this is about Lot. Don't think it's not. Because this is the land that he lives in going forward. So we have to really appreciate the atmosphere of what's taking place. And if there were any righteous people, and this guy's supposed to be a priest of the Most High God, I want y'all to understand, this is so deep. Why would the Most High God want to destroy the place in the first place if they're supposed to be a priest of his? Come on, think about that. And you know how Abraham is speaking to the situation. He said, look, man, I won't take anything. But these Amorites that came with me, you're going to pay them. And everything other than what my boys ate, you're not giving us anything. Because you will not be able to say that you have filled our coffers. That you're not going to say you put me on. Pretty much. Now, I want you to go ahead and listen to this part because this is very important. Verse 1 of chapter 15. And after these things, the word of the Lord came to Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, I shield thee. Thy reward shall be very great. And Abram said, Master and Lord, what wilt thou give me? Whereas I am departing without a child. But the son of Masech, my homeborn female slave, this Eliezer of Damascus, is mine heir. And Abram said, I am grieved, since thou hast given me no seed, and my homeborn servant shall succeed me. And immediately there was a voice of the Lord to him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come out of thee be thine heir. And he brought him out and said, Look up now to heaven and count the stars, if thou shalt be able to number them fully. And he said, Thus shall thy seed be. And Abram believed God, and it was counted to him for righteousness. Now I'm going to get ready to go ahead and spiritual gumbo out, but this next part has more to do with us than not. Lot, the Hebrew, has set up a condition, and he has helped set up a happening in a way of life that we are currently going through now. Spiritual gumbo out.